Welcome, everybody, to day 2, San Antonio, Texas. GPA coming to you from the Marriott River Center. Man, this is a beautiful city. This is a great event. Super Bowl of Midstream events. Welcome to Tallybook Troubleshooting. We're live coming to you. Tallybook Tuesdays usually is our usual day. We started yesterday. Great day one. Man, had some great conversations. You might know this. Last week, I raised a whole bunch of money for cutting my hair for Sky High for Kids. And showing up to this event, hoping to meet a lot of old friends. A lot of those old friends were just walking me because they didn't recognize me without my shoulder-length hair. So, Kenneth Christia, I will always remember the fact you walked right by me and I literally had to stop you to make you acknowledge my presence. Tallybook Troubleshooting brought to you by Arc Energy. We process your energy, process equipment. We recondition for your ESG. Save, a 10,000 pound slug catcher, vessel separator. We recondition it. Save that steel. Save that carbon dioxide from going into the atmosphere. We also work with aiming plants, cryos, MRUs, you name it. Contact us today. We'd love to have a chat with you, help you maybe with some supply chain issues. You just never know. GPA day 2 was a late night. Maybe my voice is a little bit harsher than usual, but we're having a great time doing it. I have 2 great gentlemen sitting beside me here. I'm not going to brutalize their introductions by pretending to remember every title that they have and their experiences. So I'm going to get them started. Sir, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Go ahead, introduce yourself.
So I'm David Murphy, and before I started about the job, I'm on the YP board with Sky High for Kids.
Awesome.
So I watched your whole process with the money you raised and your hair, and being on the board, I appreciate you seeing you do that. So I didn't get to make it to the event that night, but I was at the clay shoot the next day.
It was a heck of a time. Me and JP, I think between the two of us, we raised over like $25,000.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
It was awesome.
That's awesome. But yeah, so I work for BMD, which is Beaumont Manufacturing and Distribution. What we do is we manufacture control valves and various types of controls for a lot of different well site equipment, whether it's production separators, gas compression, your scrubbers, all your end devices, dehydrage. I mean, you name it. If you're controlling a level on a vessel, we've got the products for you. So our products range from level controllers, dump valves, pressure relief valves, sight glasses. We're kind of a one-stop shop if you were dressing out a three-phase separator. So,
awesome. Sounds like we should know you.
You actually buy some things from us.
I figured. That's how some of this got connected.
Yeah, that's correct. So we actually do some work with Arc Energy. Do work with a lot of the guys that are here, whether it's, I saw Kodiak Compression was on here. They're a big customer of ours as well.
Kathy Norris.
That's
great lady. I love talking to her.
Yeah, great. So we've been around since 2015. We opened our doors. So we're kind of the new guys on the block when it comes to the market. But we've made tremendous headway over the last 6 years. We really pride ourselves at BMD on customer focus, obviously paying attention to the customers, but good lead times, helping customers cut costs, and answering the phone when they call, making sure we're available. So we've come a really long way. I was telling my boss this morning, I remember coming to this event 6 years ago when I started at BMD, knowing absolutely nobody, and now I walk in and it
doesn't take long. It's a really great atmosphere.
It doesn't take long. It's fun. So that's kind of an introduction for myself on the BMD side. We have distributors or representatives, whatever you want to call it. Spindletop Energy Products is actually a representative of our product.
That's very nice to meet you. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Grady Talbot. I work for Spindletop Energy Products. I am the route sales coordinator for those guys. I kind of handle distribution at the route sales level. On top of that, I also do training for everybody at BMD because I started my career at BMD and went to Spindletop. It kind of made sense as a manufacturer's rep to have me there. So we kind of just cut a deal, ended up over there with those guys. And so I do training for all the new hires at Spindletop, for any new customers who don't really need to know how to work on repair and rebuild our valves and things like that. I help them with that. On top of BMD, we also rep for FW Murphy. We also rep for Patent Lubrication, as well as Electrodyne alternators, DCL catalysts, and Magus chemical ejection pumps.
Awesome. That's nice. That's a pretty nice little lineup you have there.
Yeah, sure is. And yeah, that's what we do. We kind of just go around, distribute products for BMD and those other companies, and that's what we've been doing for about 2 years.
You mentioned you've been coming for 6 years to the GPA. How long have you been coming?
I've only been a member of the GPA for 1 year now. Yeah.
So this is your second one?
This is not my second GPA. I didn't come last year. I went to my most recent GPA event was the ski train in Denver.
Okay.
That's kind of where I got introduced to.
So this is your first one here in San Antonio?
Yeah, it is.
What do you think of it?
I think it's amazing. I've been having a great time, met a lot of great people, done a lot of networking. It's been really nice.
Last year was my first GPA experience, and, right off the bat, I've been around the oil field a long time, and first thing they said was, we're going to have a sweet night on Sunday night. And come on, man. I've been in the oil field long enough. Nobody shows up on a Sunday night. And I'd eat crow. I was completely wrong. Everybody shows up on a Sunday night. So how long were you here Sunday night? Did you get a chance to go to the sweet nights last night? What has been you said it was amazing. What's made it amazing for you?
Well, just all the events. We went to 2 events last night, including the ARC
Energy Party. It was a great time.
Yeah, it was a great time. Spent about an hour there. Amber was nice enough to invite us to that. Just got to meet a lot of people. Got to see a bunch of old friends. Randomly bumped into a cousin of mine, so that was interesting. Found out he was a competitor. I forgot about that. So that was a little interesting. You kind of just bumping into a lot of old friends and making a lot of new friends.
And Grady, with this being his second time here, he was actually shipped out to Midland, Odessa for a couple of years. Pay the dues. I don't know what.
Yeah, pay the dues. Midland, Odessa is a great place. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Okay, great people, lots to do. The Marriott in Odessa, I think it might be nicer than this Marriott. Okay,
that's my go-to Gate Fellowship. I miss you guys.
So, 6 years. Have you seen any changes? Is it improved? Is it still the same event that you came?
I think COVID kind of set it back a little bit. When I first came to it, man, it was big. I mean, there was parties in every conference room. COVID slowed us down a little bit, but I think it's back again. It seemed like last night, it seemed like the level of people that were here, the amount of parties. I'm looking forward to tonight because I think the parties are in the conference rooms again like they have been in the past. So, like I said, COVID kind of hurt us a little bit, but I think we're back better than ever, and it's been it is as good as I can remember from 5 or 6 years ago.
Excellent. Yeah, I remember there being he spoke about the energy crisis in Europe and, how gas and a lot of, we had Ben Day talk about the mega rule and how that's affecting a lot of the pipelines. So there is quite a bit of work going on here. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It isn't just a party here. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
That goes out to my wife. Yes, it is lots of work while being here. Shout out to my wife who's at home right now. Hopefully you're watching. Hit the like button as much as you possibly can.
Well, and I mentioned this to you earlier. I'll give you kudos. I started following this when I think you were just doing it from your cell phone in your truck. So you've come a long way. Now I feel like I'm in a real newsroom right now. So.
Well, I did convince Jason once we got this opportunity. I was like, hey, instead of me just with a cell phone, I think we could get a little bit of a budget, make this look a little bit more professional.
We got 3 cameras here. That's
so, nice. And Rebecca's really great. She's doing some video. We'll include in the live stream later some clips of what she's working for Arc Energy as well. But, no, it's been nice to just kind of sit back and speak and enjoy the guests. So, with being all the supply, let's get back to the industry. Mm-hmm. Supply chain is a huge issue right now.
Yeah.
Is it hitting you? How are you trying to get ahead of the problem?
The great thing about B&D is we, like I said, we've been around since 2015. We're a much smaller, family-owned private company. So compared to some of our competitors, we tend to be able to make decisions a lot quicker than they can. So when it comes to the market we're in, it's always a juggle on how much inventory should we purchase. Should we hold off on purchasing inventory? The great thing about our company is we're not scared to really just go after it. So we've done a really good job, even throughout some of the woes we've seen, of keeping lead times down. And a lot of that is kudos to our team in Beaumont and the production guys and just making sure, forecasting the oil and gas market's not easy, right? Because things just change every day. But we've had our struggles, but we've done good throughout it. So we've been able to really, support our customers when it comes to their demand as their demand's increasing.
Spindle Top, same kind of situation. Well, I'm sure you're facing challenges. How are you trying to get around them?
Man, it's the same kind of similar to what David just mentioned. It's been a lot of looking at orders on case by case basis. I mean, prioritizing some and moving stuff around to make sure that everyone's units stay running is our main concern.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it just takes a lot of individual effort and a lot of just care, tender love and care when it comes to making sure everyone is taken care of and not, playing favorites. And because every one of our vendors has experienced supply chain issues. It's just the way it is. And we were lucky to have the vendors.
Your customers been willing to work with you? Like, hey, I don't have option A, but here's option B, which is pretty close. If you work with me, if you make the adjustment now, you'll be able to utilize it.
They have been, yes, absolutely. And a lot of times, it's as simple as with a dump valve from BMD, changing the trim set to make it work for the customer. Just trying to do things like that can get us ahead and move that timeline up 2 weeks. And when you can do that for somebody, they think the world of you.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's on the BMD side, we get a lot of requests. Hey, I've got this dump valve from this other manufacturer. He can't get it to me. Can you make it? And I'll say, yeah, we make an equivalent to that. Here's our equivalent option. We'll get it to you in a week. At BMD, many of times have we thrown a bunch of valves in the back of the truck and drove them from Beaumont to Midland to get customers out of a bind. And that's kind of the mindset that we have, both on the Spindle Top and the BMD side is if your unit's down, if you're not in production, we're gonna get you back in line. And if we need to throw it in the back of the truck and drive it to you, we will.
Awesome. No, flexibility is huge in the market right now. Responsiveness. I'm very new to the midstream world, and one thing that I brought in from the upstream world is treat it like a fireman. Like it's got to happen now. They don't want it tomorrow. They wanted it yesterday.
Everything's in a hurry.
Yeah, and if you respond accordingly, right? Maybe you can't supply it. That at least keeping them informed so that they can make their schedule changes. Accordingly.
No, you're right, man.
So, besides Sky High, do you guys work with anybody else?
No, so Sky High, I'm kind of fully committed. So quick story on myself. I had leukemia when I was in college. And so I went through treatment for that at Texas Children's Hospital. And I've been working in the oil field since I graduated from college. And when I met Brittany at an event, she immediately said, you got to join this young professional board we're putting together. And it was great for me because it was giving back myself. So I kind of saw all of these things happening firsthand but it's also a great organization because it ties into what I do on my career side, so you guys, Kodiak Gas, Spitzer, I mean, you name it, all of these customers of ours essentially that are involved. It's a great way to network, meet new people, but also for a very good cause. And Brittany too. I mean, she is an animal, right? So
she goes after what she wants. Definitely.
So yeah, I chose Sky High and I joined their board, and that's kind of my full time outside of BMD.
Yes, sir. We love sporting Sky High. I do kids soccer, a few other things, so it's busy times now. But you got to give back when you can, and you utilize your time wisely. You got any charities or any events you want to push, sir? Now's the time. The floor is yours.
Yeah, we've sponsored a few MDA things with Spindle Top and a couple other, pretty much any golf tournament that we can put a little money towards.
Anything coming up that you want to shout out?
Not off the top of my head, I don't remember. I'm trying to think.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I do well.
No, I don't know of any golf tournaments or anything coming up. Man, yeah, you did put me on the spot. I can't remember.
No worries,
back
man.
And crash the next interview and just toss it out there. How about that?
You go back in the comments and be like, I meant to say.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's what I'll do, yeah. Thanks.
Excellent. Well, sir,
hey, we
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks
so much for having us, man.
And it was awesome having you.
Hopefully you can enjoy yourself tonight.
Oh, that's the plan. Yes, sir, it was my birthday after all. So it was. Thank you, sir. And that filled up the comments yesterday. I couldn't even get it. I was like, oh, where are you watching from? Or, what questions out there? It was like, happy birthday, Keith. Happy birthday. And it was like, oh, man, I'm sure there's some questions at some point. And we had a few. So really appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the event.
Again,
maybe we'll see you around later tonight.
All right. Sounds good.
Excellent, gentlemen. Rebecca, how are we doing? Are we live? Do we have enough internet? Are we just bumping along? Anybody watching from anywhere exciting? I don't get to see the comments. I don't have anything in front of me to tell me, so I'm relying on Rebecca. JD better be watching. Aaron better be watching. Richard. How are you doing, Richard? Bangladesh. Excellent. Shout out. I wonder if that guy's going to come on. No? Oh, he's on the phone. You give him his chance to be in the spotlight, and he chooses to go on the phone. I get it. I'm here hoping. Do we have our next guest lined up? Maybe, kind of. I'm filling in dead air. That's okay. The GPA here from the River Center Marriott in San Antonio, Texas. Beautiful San Antonio. Even though the traffic was pretty rough, Rebecca has been trying to come in every morning and has encountered an accident or something on the interstate. Man, what's going on? Is it all us out-of-towners causing trouble for everybody here in San Antonio? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. A few events coming up. I mentioned later next week, I'll be coming from the School of Energy in Azteca, New Mexico. Stay tuned for that. We'll be live with a bunch of students, some of their staff, and a few guests from the area, I am told. So looking forward to doing that. September 23rd, shout out to Social Octane. They've invited me to be a FR clothing judge. No, clothing model, and then a food judge. I don't know how I wrote that, why you would even select me, but thank you very much, Mark, for reaching out and doing so. I'm going to do my best to not embarrass myself on the runway. Do we have any of the other interviews from last night that we could upload? Well, perfect. You give me the signal once they're running, and I'll take a moment to myself then. Or maybe Amber wants to come in. Amber doesn't want to come in?
Behind the scenes.
Oh, no. Really? Our marketing manager doesn't want to come on the live stream and introduce herself and tell her all the great things she did here for the GPA. Shout out to Amber for doing such a great job at her suite night. She really killed it. Yeah, of course we're on. It's live.
Coming
This
to
is
you, day 2, San Antonio, GP.
Amber, go ahead and introduce yourself. Here's a microphone.
Oh, goodness. Nervous.
Why would you get nervous? There's only like 2 people watching.
Oh, yeah,
like
right.
I said.
No, there's such
at
a
least
bigger-
4. There's 4 people maybe. Okay.
There's more than that.
No, never. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are. Maybe I think that one.
Amber Leger, Arc Energy. And, hey, I had my 1-year anniversary just right behind you. So,
Yes. What do you do here, Amber?
marketing and, support our sales. I love this industry. I love been in it for 25 plus years and working on that side from the wellhead to the pipeline. And what we do is what I get to tell everybody about, what we do better than anybody else.
And you did such a great night on the sweet night, and we had plenty of Arc Energy socks. Who knew, right?
Yes.
And the sweet night turned out great. Great food, lots of drinks, lots of people. We even had, people serving drinks. It was a great time.
We did.
How mad were you at me when you came in and you saw I rearranged all the furniture?
I wasn't mad.
She
No.
was totally mad.
I didn't
could-
realize that
could-
we needed to reorganize furniture to make sure that we got more people into the
Feng
suite.
shui. I bet it drove her crazy.
And it made a
everybody.
huge difference. So thank you to Jason and to you for.
I bet it
Correct.
drove her crazy. Secretly. Well, I'll get the truth later, everybody.
No, it was fine. Yeah, maybe a little crazy.
There we go. That truth comes out, everybody. Well, thank you, Amber. I wanted to get you on camera. It's the least I can do here. Any other big events coming up that everybody should know about from ARC?
Well, I think the big one is next month, LabCo. And it's all about energy. And actually, Sarah and Fumi and all the people at LabCo did a terrific job and bringing awareness to what we want it to be and all about energy. So
October 19th,
Yep.
20th, and 21st in Lafayette, Louisiana, everybody. So, hey, a lot of people from there went to other places, but a lot of people also started their careers in Lafayette. So it's an excuse to go
Get
back, have some great food, and meet some great people, and have some fun, right? Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you. Are we ready with our recorded interview? If you got it, roll it. Let me know when I can relax my posture. I can do several small. No, probably not.
Hey,
Wife
River
is
Center,
cringing.
having a great time here. Midstream Super Bowl event. Man, last year I came and I was blown away. I was an upstream guy for a long time, and very honored to have the president of the GPA with me. Joel, I'll have you do your own introduction so I don't mess anything up. Give a little bit of background history. Tell everybody who you are.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Well, I've been president and CEO of GPA Midstream for 3 years. Before that, I call it an midstream industry veteran. I've worked in midstream my whole career. That's probably in excess of 40 years now. So, in fact, I've been working in midstream longer than we called it midstream. When I first started, there was no such term as midstream.
What'd they call it? Just
It was
pipeline or
just
what?
part of, integrated oil companies. So there really wasn't a business segment called midstream back in the 1980s when I started. So, but I've worked for a variety of different companies, Occidental Petroleum Enterprise, companies that aren't even in this business anymore. So but I've always loved it. I've loved this organization. I was a past chair of the organization, been involved with committees and various things, gone to Capitol Hill and talked to people at FERC and stuff about, the industry issues back over the last 20 years. So it was just a great fit to be able to come to work for GPA Midstream in 2019.
I'm very impressed. I did wireline for a number of years, been to a lot of upstream conferences, and like I mentioned, this was my first last year, and I was very impressed. The interaction between, the what you call the customers and the vendors seems like a lot of partnerships, looking to solve problems, looking to work together, where, in a lot of conferences, that isn't always the case. It seems like it's very offstandish. If you don't know somebody yet, they're not looking for somebody new. And here it seems like, maybe that's the organization or the atmosphere you've created. So kudos to you that it's very welcoming, very open to newer ideas. And we had, interesting enough, Ben Day on earlier. He was talking about the mega rule. We had some of the, candidates come in talking about some of the regulations they'd like to see changed. With the GPA, give yourself a pat on the back. It's a great organization. What would you like people who out there maybe aren't familiar with it to know most importantly?
Well, I think things that we started GPA Midstream in 1921, so we just passed 100 years last year.
Congratulations.
The GPSA, our supplier organization, so we run both these groups together. So that's vendors and engineering firms and stuff like that. Arc Energy. They started in 1928. So GPSA and GPA Midstream have been sister organizations for, closer to 100 years than anything else. And so, we work together. I think, the foundation of the organizations was technical. Started in the 1920s on technical specs for products, and then evolved for many, many years on just how do we run our facilities better, safer, all that. And so that's still a foundation. We have all these technical committees that focus on operations, safety. We do research that helps, long-term, try to solve long-term issues. So we do that. And then probably one of our other foundational things we moved into over the course of the last 25 years, and certainly over the last 10, is to be more active in federal advocacy. So we have a full-time person in Washington, is Matt Height. We're about to add a second person up there. Just being our eyes and ears, pushing back, just trying to get, we're not environment, anti-regulation, anything. It's just, they need to make sense. Don't get too disconnected from what is physically possible.
Find a great middle ground.
Right.
The Oil and Gas Workers Association president was here, checking out the event. I told him how great you guys are, and they're doing the same thing. They're pushing for back on some of the regulation they think is, strangling the industry, and I think it's great hearing that the GPA is doing the same way for the midstream folks, or the whole industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And it's great.
We had I'd call a nice outcome this year. We brought a lawsuit against PHMSA about the gas mega rule and gas gathering, and we reached a nice agreement. They pushed back some of the timing for that work. That gives our companies more time to get it done right. We're also having some discussions with them right now about another rule that they want to put in on gas gathering. And then we know we're going to have a lot of challenges ahead. The EPA is looking at new rules for methane, and so we're going to be anxiously watching that, seeing what they come from, because that actually then ties into what's going on with the Inflation Reduction Act that recently came out, the Manchin-Schumer bill, where they will start imposing a methane fee on upstream, midstream, transmission.
With Matt Cody, he should be here soon. I know the Oil and Gas Workers Association, they're working towards on that as well. So great to hear. What about, to expand the GA, what kind of groups do you wish knew about it that, you haven't reached yet?
Well, I mean, there's always companies that we'd love to have part of it that, aren't necessarily our core companies in GPA Midstream, kind of have this history of being in Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Louisiana. There's a whole group of companies that, back in the Marcellus that I kind of have my eye on. That wish they knew more about what we were doing and were engaged, because they're doing the same thing in Texas and Oklahoma, gathering, processing, and put our voices together, because that's how it works the best, is to get as many voices as possible. So, we'd like to do that. The GPSA is, in the midst of a membership drive, and so they'd like to have more folks to, bring those expertise. There's so much expertise in the GPSA companies. The technical expertise for our industry resides as much in GPSA as it does in GPA Midstream. So we need all that to come together, to act as one voice for what we're doing for the midstream industry.
Do you see any changes in the future of the GPA, or things going to continue the way they are? Are you always going to have it in San Antonio? Do you guys ever have plans to move it anywhere else?
We have moved around over the years. This is year one of a 5-year contract to be here in San Antonio. So we'll be here for this year, more years, contracts for 2027 and 29 in Denver.
Oh.
So yes, we have historically moved around a little bit. There are many years this would be the odd year and we'd be somewhere else on the even years. And then, this agreement that they reached a few years ago, I think that was probably 4 years ago, they did the deal for 22 to 26. So you have to plan a long way in advance. And of course, those agreements were done when we were in this meeting in the spring. So we were historically a March, and then we kind of went to mid-April for many years. And then COVID hit us. And so we were going to be in New Orleans in April of 2020. And of course, that was not a great time to be me. And so we looked at that and kind of made a guess that fall of 2020 that we weren't going to be ready to have an in-person meeting in April of 2021. So then we worked with our hotel partners to move back to September. So we didn't want to go 2 years without having a meeting, so we went a year and a half, and then once you have the meeting in September, it didn't make sense to us to go and have another one 6-7 months later. So we're going to be in the fall. So other new things we're doing is we just rolled out a program called Let's Clear the Air. So we did that in May of this year. It's a communications program. It's really kind of a way for the midstream industry to talk about what they're doing while they're doing addressing climate issues, emissions, all those kind of things. And so we rolled that out. We've got a website called letscleartheairnow.org. We finished 2 videos. We've got one that we're tentatively showing here in probably like right now in the next few minutes. And, working through misconceptions, trying to go, what are people's concerns? How's midstream addressing those?
As an industry, I think we do a poor job of it, and we got to be willing to speak because there's lots of great things about this industry. The companies do great charitable things as well as, the technology has kept pace. We can do it a lot cleaner and more efficient.
We're part of the solution for energy going forward. We're, there may be wind, there may be solar, it's all nuclear, but fossil fuels are going to be part of the landscape for decades to come. Yeah, and so, in fact, I just said in the luncheon is it's really energy addition more than energy transition. If you look and see where we're going, and from a history standpoint, we've added a lot of wind and solar over the last 10 years, but we've actually added more natural gas and crude oil over that same time period. So, because the economies are demanding more and more energy.
Sure. Well, sir, thank you very much.
All right.
I really appreciate
Thanks.
you having us here and letting us do this little bit of a show out here and try and get the word out, something different. I hear we were the first kind of podcast here for the GPA, so big thanks to Kevin Broom and Crystal Myers for having us and getting us with you, and really appreciate the hospitality.
All right. Well, thanks very much. Great to have everybody here in San Antonio once again. So thank you, Keith, for inviting me to talk.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be coming up our next guest here in the next few minutes. Thank you once again.
Oh, talk to you a little bit? Can you hear me? Do I need to talk louder? Is this like conversational tone or do I need to like project? I'm not a yeller.
It'll help my old man ears. Actually, I have a gentleman coming over. Oh, are we live? We're back? Man, that was the fastest shirt change ever, right? We recorded that interview for the previous one yesterday with the president of GPA, Joel. Once again, big shout out to him. Thank you for joining us and including us in this great GPA. Rebecca, we're all good, right? We're live, we're going. Excellent. I love doing this with Rebecca. It's more fun than you can imagine. I just have to sit back, ask dumb questions, and just let it roll. I have a great guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's helping the industry fight back on clean air. Is that what? Am I in the right ballpark
You're
at least?
in the right ballpark at least.
Excellent. Take it away, Stephanie. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Keogh and I work at Han Agency. And we first partnered with GPA Midstream and GPSA back in June 2021. We conducted research and interviewed experts in the energy and midstream fields in order to be able to develop a campaign and talk about the future of energy and how midstream can lead the conversation about the future of energy. And there are a lot of myths and misconceptions out there right now.
What? No, that doesn't sound right. People not telling the truth?
I know. Can you believe it? And so we're here to address those misconceptions based on, we want to talk in a peer-to-peer manner, respectful, conversational. We want it to be just casual discussion of, what have you heard? Okay, now here's our side of the story.
What, I guess, would be the biggest misconception about the energy industry right now?
The biggest misconception, based on what we have found on Google search data, is people are wondering or stating, energy, oil and gas, midstream, you fill in the blank, doesn't care about the environment. And so that's one of the
biggest...
We
kill polar bears, right? Like, that's what we do. Like, I have 5 in the back of my truck right now. Yes, that is not true. I do not kill polar bears. That is a joke. So
yes, don't take that out of context.
Yes, I'm sure. My wife was the only one watching anyway, so I'm sure she got the joke. She's shaking your head as I speak. So with that, how do you fight back against that misconception of we don't care about the
fight
internet?
back without being combative or argumentative.
I agree wholeheartedly.
So as we expand the campaign, this year we just launched it in May 2022, and so we are talking right now just to energy folks, trying to figure out what misconceptions have you heard. Okay, now how do we address that? What is the truth behind it? What have you been doing to actually, capture carbon emissions? And what are you doing to actually play a role in a cleaner energy future? And so we're getting the specifics so that we can have the answers to be able to answer. And in 2023, we're going to be expanding our audiences, talking to Gen Z and millennials. We're going to be active on social media, paid digital media, sponsorships for newsletters and podcasts and live streaming, and trying to find them in a digital manner. So, but we really want to keep it a conversational, honest.
Yeah, you don't win anybody over by attacking them.
You do not.
There's a few groups out there that always, they're trying to own the libs or something, and you're not going to win anybody over by doing that.
No.
A lot of the reason I started my show is, the oil field needs a lot of good. It could use all the good PR it can get, and
right.
I've tried to, I'll have great stories where people troubleshoot, some kind of problem, so that we're not just dumb rednecks, driving a big lifted pickup truck, right? There's some very intelligent people in this industry.
Definitely.
And there's lots of innovation that comes from this industry. Recently, I had a group on that makes modular refineries. And with the technology they incorporated, they're able to eliminate 95% of the emissions that a traditional refinery produces. So they literally capture all the carbon, use it in the process of refined fuel. And it's small enough, they can literally take it to Midland, Odessa, set it up on a small footprint. You don't need the pipeline anymore, and you're just producing gasoline for the state of Odessa or Midland. You can do it in, with the Barnett Shale, you can do one in DFW, right? And it's technology. It's not 1984 anymore. There's lots coming. It's great to hear that there's groups out there doing this. What other misconceptions are you guys pushing back against?
So there are a lot of questions on, how are companies curbing their carbon emissions? People want to know specifics because there's all kinds of marketing and PR out there saying we're doing our part and we're going to meet the net zero of 2050. But people want to know the facts. How are you doing it? What are the steps? So one of the most recent videos that we just put together discussing the technological innovations on, how certain companies are using drones to monitor and reduce methane emissions. Some are using satellite or ground-based operations, but there are actual technologies that are being put in place now, and the promises are actually being put into action too. So we want to show, what the facts are and what's being done, because marketing speak it's not good enough. It's not making the cut anymore. People want to see the cold hard facts.
Is there any pushback on carbon being all this big bad boogeyman? Because in essence, carbon isn't as bad. For instance, I had a guest on who explained that with the rise with a little bit of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, it has helped drought-proof a lot of the crops in India. They wouldn't have reached the yields that they needed with some of the reduced rain amounts they had. Is there any pushback that carbon isn't as bad as it seems? Like one of the largest sources of carbon dioxide on the planet is the ocean. And a lot of people don't know some of those facts. Do you guys do any of that, or is it all just, the industry's reduced footprint, or how's it going?
So one of the hardest tasks that we have is to try to change people's minds. It is, widely discussed in the media, and that carbon dioxide is a pollutant. It's one of the biggest greenhouse gas emissions. And so I don't think that we'll be able to fully change people's minds on how carbon dioxide is affecting the environment. And so
baby steps. I get it.
So I think it'd be more about talking about how people are capturing their carbon emissions, or, how they've been reducing emissions. And that would be, a first step towards talking about solutions.
Sure. At Arc Energy, for instance, we recondition vessels. So that means you get a 10,000 pound vessel. We'll take it at the end of its life from one company. We'll recondition it, clean it up, stamp it, and sell it to another company so that they didn't have to smelt new steel for it. So it's essentially recycling and stuff, right?
Yeah.
10,000 pounds of steel saved is, almost 20,000 pounds of carbon dioxide that didn't have to get produced, right? From smelting new coal, like smelting new steel and all that sort of stuff. So there is lots of wins out there.
Absolutely. And these are the stories that we want to share, right? So, we're not just producing carbon dioxide, we're reducing it, right? So, and here are the specifics, here are examples. These are the technologies that we want to show the world that are in place.
There are large plants, especially in West Texas, that capture carbon dioxide that's produced like from wells, like one of the byproducts. You get natural gas, you're getting carbon dioxide, but they take that carbon dioxide and they pump it back into the formation to produce more natural gas. So there is lots of great carbon capture technologies out there right now.
Absolutely.
It's great to hear that people are wanting to hear more about it. What other steps? You're preaching to the or you're talking to me. I'm already on board. How are you guys reaching out to people who aren't the
so
middle crowd?
We haven't expanded the audience. We're going to be working on that 2023. Since we launched the campaign in May, it's still in the infant stages. So we want everybody in the industry to not only be on board, I understand that we're all on the same team here. So we want to get everybody armed with the same talking points, with the same information, so that it's not, so there's no worry about it becoming an argument or a fight or, confrontational. If we're armed with the same simple talking points and just easy peasy answers, then once we do expand to the new audiences next year, digitally hitting Gen Z and millennials, then it can become conversational. Everyone will have the same kind of consistent answers.
Have you had, a lot of participants? Some of the bigger companies I've found, especially doing this show, sometimes don't want the PR. They don't want to be part of the story. Have you encountered any of that, or has it all been very positive moving forward? Everyone wants to tell the story.
Yeah, I think we've gotten a lot of very positive feedback. People are eager to get involved in the campaign. After we gave our presentation yesterday, we had tons of people swinging by the booth saying, here's what my company is doing right now. How can we get involved in the campaign? And it's the perfect fodder because it's a win-win situation for the campaign and for the company. Positive publicity for them, as well as fodder for the campaign to be able to spread the message even farther.
How large is your organization right now? I know you're making the push next year, but how big are you guys right now?
So, are you asking in terms of the agency,
maybe
the campaign,
headcount or reach? Are you guys just in the southern United States? Are you all over?
Oh, I see. Okay, so our target audience for 2022 is just energy industry, midstream in particular is who we're trying to talk to. So that's why we're being as active as we can here at this conference, because this is our bread and butter right now. And then once we hit 2023 and start to expand digitally, we'll be talking only to the United States. It's a domestic campaign for now. There are 330 million Americans, and we power their lives every single day.
Especially the Permian Basin. The Permian Basin doesn't wake up. America doesn't get to go to work. Why just the focus on the midstream? Is that just kind of that's where it started? Why not include some of the upstream folks?
So it's not an exclusion. We were hired by GPA and GPSA to be able to put on this campaign. And so that's why we're just starting at the core right now with midstream. Midstream has flown under the radar for decades. If you ask someone on the street what is midstream, they would probably give you one of these. And so I think
you were wrong, but you are 100% right.
If you ask someone, what upstream is, they may not know that term, but they would know drilling and getting oil from the ground, fracking, right?
Yeah, horrible fracking, yes.
And so midstream, I think, is a little more or lesser known, right? And so because it's flown under the radar, maybe now it's time to shine some positive light on it.
They definitely have the resources. I know lots of great midstream folks that care about the environment and cleaning up their act. Reducing flaring is a big push, especially out in the Permian. And they're doing lots of great things. They're doing, they're powering crypto mining, with some of the flare gas. There's a great technologies. I was recently at the Produced Water Gas Society. There's a gentleman who uses flare gas to clean up produced water. I always thought a great story would be taking all that produced water that the industry creates, instead of pumping it back down to saltwater disposals, clean it up and start irrigating the Permian and make all the brown desert green and lush. you couldn't argue with that kind of win,
Right.
something like that. So it was very nice to meet you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
Nice
much for
to
coming
meet
on.
you.
There's actually a gentleman over there who's the president of the Oil and Gas Workers Association.
Oh, okay.
I think he'd be a great guy to get with.
Yes.
Edward, do you know Matt? Can you introduce Stephanie to her or to him?
Thank you.
And I don't know. He might have. You guys might be on the same team, working towards the same goal. So
Good.
think
I love to hear
the
it.
more the merrier. So
Thank you
once
so
again,
much.
thank you very much for
Appreciate
coming
it.
on.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who do we got up next? Oh, I don't know. Let's see if Drew wants to come on. Is Christian still talking on the phone? Oh, man. Boo. You guys want to come on, just shoot the shit? Come on. You didn't introduce. You got to meet that girl. Oh, boy. You dropped the ball. On live. Dropping the ball. I know you couldn't see it. Literally, I was like, hey, introduce that person. And then they just went. Walked away.
You have anything to say?
No, you're not going to come on? Nothing. You don't want to talk about your horrible leg break and your road to recovery?
Christian, you talk about that, how you push me down.
Oh, man. Okay. Can we play the interview with, do we have Kyle's interview that we can upload while I go and recruit some more people? Ridiculous. Amateur video at its best, people. Amateur video at its best. I promise. You can see the people behind me. They keep talking. They're so busy networking and winning and making deals. That's why they can't come talk to me. I'm telling you. If you've never been to the GPA in San Antonio, you need to make the trip, especially if you got a rental company, generators, and any kind of supply company. You need to be here. These guys need these supplies. They got supply chain problems like anybody else. And great people, midstream folks. They fly under the radar, like Stephanie said, and they're just happy to be contributing to this great industry, getting the energy from point A to point B. Speaking of point A to point B,
Day 2 GP.
I drove all the way from Odessa, Texas here. It's about 5 hours. It's actually a pretty great drive if you've never done the San Antonio to Odessa. And I know people always dog on the Permian and stuff. You know what? It's always been great for me. Rebecca, are we ready with the other? Excellent. Upload it and save me from my ramblings, Rebecca. Save me.
Tony, River Center, Marriott, having a great time. City of San Antonio, one great place. Home of the Alamo. As a Canadian, you grow up and you watch some of these American movies and you hear some of the stories. Everybody's always for the Alamo. Don't forget the Alamo,
Okay,
right?
after this, we're up next.
An amazing city here. The GPA. I was an upstream guy a long time. I had the opportunity to come last year for the first time. Amazing show. Interact between upstream guys and their vendors. Bar none, one of the best I've been, encountered in the industry. And well, what I'm hoping, just a little good positive PR for the industry, and continue with some positive PR. Hoping to spread a little of that cheer on to my next guest. I'll let him do his own introduction because I'll brutalize something. Mr. Kyle Sinclair, thank you very much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Tell everybody, who you are. What do you do?
So Kyle Sinclair, I am running for U.S. Congress here in San Antonio. So that's the Texas 20th district against an incumbent. And I'll tell you, my background, as I was sharing with you right before this, is I'm a CEO of a hospital. I'm an Army veteran, just a big blended family, love life, and just got to the point where I was tired of what was going on in this country. And since I launched my campaign, I'll tell you that the oil and gas industry has been one of my favorite to learn. And I keep sharing with everybody that we've got to have people in government from DC level all the way down to state and local level that support this industry.
It's an industry, oil sometimes is a dirty word, but what we really do is we supply cheap, reliable energy to poor people.
And here's the reality is that the America was built on oil and gas.
All the great places in the world today have been.
It literally bothers me that you have people in government that are pushing these New Green Deal and destroying and trying to dismantle through regulatory bodies of this industry. And so I've gone on, oil and gas jobs, fracking jobs, and speaking to the experts, and amazing what is going on in this country. We have got to have people all the way from the White House, again, down to local level that support this industry.
Well, I hope they take, note of what's going on in Europe, because, look at Europe, very advanced society, and all of a sudden they were going to make the big transition and push, and it's looking like this winter they're going to have, they're going to be a lot of trouble here with no natural gas coming in.
Well,
so
they're in lines now for coal, to try to pick up coal, so the coal price is up the roof and through the roof, and it is.
There's no fertilizer. They're going to have problems with food, and I hope the people in power here are paying attention, because that's only a few steps away from happening here as well.
I mean, you look at Sri Lanka, what happened, that was true monarchy or anarchy and taking over the government because they saw what happened. You can't feed yourself power or clothes or anything. It's done. You literally destroy a country. So again, America was built on that. I'm pro oil gas. I'm supportive of this industry. I've been endorsed by Oil and Gas Workers Association, and having a big industry and love for that in our country, and we need it.
It's great to hear, especially, my wife works in manufacturing cold chain. She does packs for shipping, vaccines and that sort of stuff. And I try and, it starts at home. You got to tell the story to the people around you. And then, she tells her family, they weren't an oil and gas family, but once you get to know that, then you realize, some of the stuff, like, look what's going on in California. They go, no more gas-powered engines, and then the next week it's like, well, you can't charge your electric car either, and it's like, well, make up your mind here. Like, how are we getting around?
It's amazing. So I went to an oil job in Washington, and I turned around that next weekend and I changed my oil in my truck, and I literally shot a video under my truck, and I'm like, and even when I did the fracking job this past week, and I just go in my house and I click the button and the gas comes on. Like, there is no understanding of what it entails and how much involvement is it to get production and get it to where we can, as a society, function and grow, right?
And convenient, modern convenience, right? And it's the United States. It's supposed to be the greatest country in the world, and then now we're going in places where we're changing those policies, and they have to go a day without power. Like, what? Like, it's unheard of. I hope Texas never ever goes that way.
And there's some, yeah. I mean, again, I like renewable energy. Sure, that's great. I have solar panels, but the reality is it's not sustainable.
We need more energy, not less of it. So, you know what? Bring the renewables online, but don't get rid of the gas.
But my favorite part is, even in renewables, and to make it, you need oil products. You need them to function. You need them to build them. You need them to sustain it. So this country will never, ever get away from the value of what it does. And literally wars are being fought over energy. That's
all the major ones have for the last 100 years.
So again, my thoughts off, and to all of you listening, thank you. God bless you guys. Thank you for what you do for the country. Thank you for allowing us as a society to grow.
Appreciated it as well. So the election, that's November 8th election, great?
Yeah, so.
And so what has been, you're running, what has been the feedback you've been getting here in San Antonio?
Yeah, so I'm running against a 10-year incumbent. But I'll tell you, he's part of that new socialism, new Green Deal, destroy the oil and gas industry. And so I've gotten a lot of support from this industry. But the reality is I think people are thriving for leadership and thriving to know what's going on. I've just amazed in city councils and HOAs and presidents and gone to these parades, and they just said, I've never been asked the question you were asking me. Never seen the guy. And so that's the reality is why I'm doing this, because I want to help this country, right? I served in the military. I want the America that I grew up to be the same America my kids grew up in. And
I think a lot of people do. I'm an immigrant myself. I moved to Canada, or I moved from Canada. I became a citizen about two years ago. My wife originally grew up in Texas, and I never thought I'd be moving to Texas and hearing, some guy, you're talking about replacing like a socialist type candidate. I'm like, in Texas? That's just, to me, that just sounds crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's all supposed to be like shooting guns in the air and driving big trucks and stuff like that. And it's very surprising to me sometimes, finding the different parts here.
It is. You see a lot of that in the metropolitan cities here in Texas, where they're considered blue or purple. this is a purple community, and that we're going to flip it red. There's a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum. Everybody from Governor Abbott to many members that are elected have supported my race and are excited to make history. Look, it's been held by a Democrat for 88 years, never been held by a conservative Republican in this district either. So we are on the brinks of making history and what we're doing. It is. So
That's a long time in Texas. That's once again.
I'm excited. I'm humbled. I'm fighting hard for the people of San Antonio to bring conservative values and faith and freedom and family. Those are the three pillars of this country, and that's what I stand for. I've been endorsed by San Antonio Police Officers Association. I'm pro law and order. San Antonio was deadliest homicide year last year in 27 years. It's actually worse than Philadelphia. We're the 7th largest city in America, 2nd largest in Texas.
You out of the hotel soon, on the way back to Midland, where.
So that's what you get, right? You know, I'm pro law and order, pro veteran, military, first responders, pro oil and gas. I'm just an American type guy who loves his country, wants a better community for my children and your children, and that's how we do it.
Awesome, great to
Yeah.
Thank you really so much, appreciate it. Yeah. We appreciate you coming on and meeting with me.
Please click on Kyle for Congress, or go KyleFor20.com. I'm on all over social media. Need your support, need your help. I will always put a plug if you're okay with it.
Yes,
if
sir.
you can donate $20, KyleFor20.com. It won't break the bank, but it will definitely help me flip the seat. God bless you guys, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, very much.
I muted my mic. We're ready.
That's how
We're
you
gonna
troubleshoot.
point to me. And back at another amazing shirt change, right? You know, day 2 here, GPA, San Antonio, Texas, Marriott River Center, having a great time here. Man, I got a great guest. I have a guy who I should have had on. You know, I had on for a minute or so on one live stream. I think.
Yeah, we did once.
But then you know,
I was a little lame.
No, you weren't late, but it was very short, or you were kind of you needed to go. So I understand.
Okay,
but,
maybe. I don't know.
Tom, take it away. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are.
Well, Keith, thanks for introducing me. It's cool to be at the GPA. My name's Tom Gardner. I'm CEO of Arc Energy.
Whoa. Isn't Jason Arsenault the CEO? Isn't he?
Jason is the man. So Jason's a partner. Jason's actually the founder. Jason's also our chairman.
But he's not the CEO.
That's correct.
Wow, is that checks and balances or something like that?
It's interesting. So what you're alluding to is a little bit over the last 2 years, Arc's put a lot of effort into staying who we are, but growing up a little bit with some different type of accountability. So in our office, we're trying to get checks and balances. That was part of the checks and balances for our governance. So we have a board of directors now. I'm the CEO of the company. I'm so glad that the company entrusts me to do stuff, but I'm in check with the board, and Jason's the president and chairman of the board. But for operations of the company and all other aspects, I'm the CEO.
I thought it was very impressive. You know, a lot of guys, they have their company, they bring it up, you know, they start it small, and then they never want to let go or recruit the help that they really need. And one of the things when I first started here, I was like, well, I saw a lot of Jason's stuff on LinkedIn, and yeah, he's the guy. And then I was like, wait, I think it was a very, you know, professional, mature, you know, to bring in a guy to be the CEO, right? Maybe he gets to then do a little bit of fun stuff on his own as well.
Looking
that's a
back,
very smart decision.
Yeah, looking back, it sounds that way, but it probably wasn't totally planned, to be honest. Like, I'm being totally transparent here. The plan has always been, like, Jason's ambitious. He makes ARC what it is today, along with everyone else at ARC. He did recruit me very well and embrace me. All the people at ARC embrace me. And we try to leverage where everybody can add value and contribute, but it wasn't quite that intentional. However, the part that was intentional is Jason's ambition to be a little bit more in the industry together, but also maintain who ARC is. That's a hard balance to strike. And so we kind of pieced it together that way, but over the last 2 years, we're putting in the things for us to grow. And ARC has grown tremendously in the last year, and we hope we got a few years of growth coming that's super exciting.
No, I'm excited to be a part of it. You know, I've wanted to get you on just to, you know, convey that ARC is a mature company like that, where it's not just, it's still kind of mom and pop-ish, you know, at the same time, but you know, it's definitely not training wheels.
Yeah,
it's
so that
going forward.
There's
really
fundamentals that will never go away with ARC, and that started with Jason. But some of that stuff's like the passion for the business. People come to us because we're super responsive, and we like to take things on. Jason, he's a visionary, and he's still a visionary. So the things he's doing will impact ARC not even just next year, but in 5 years, in 10 years. Where I'm here is helping us guide and direct our vision for the things that we need to attend to today, tomorrow, and in the near term, and also make sure that we reinforce those things and those really pillars of the foundation that you're talking about at ARC. So as we grow, we do our best to retain the integrity of who we are. And I'll tell you, it's not perfect. Like,
no,
we're just doing our best.
I've enjoyed my time here. It's been very responsive. As a guy who did a lot of upstream work, I'm just shocked, I'm in midstream now, and it's very enjoyable. So,
my background, I actually started mechanical engineer by trade. I did some business, but I started in oil and gas and power and nuclear power doing severe service valves. But over my career, I got a lot involved in some downstream applications. At ARC, it's a little bit of a mix. We have customers that are actually in the upstream, in the midstream, some in the downstream, but most of our equipment's going into midstream application with various. So when we say downstream, upstream, midstream, we don't exclude many, to be honest, but definitely a lot of our work is hitting right now at natural gas.
We are
whatever we
at
do
the
to touch
GPA here,
gas.
so that's why I keep mentioning the midstream, right? We try to prop them up. I'm glad you went through your background because I did interrupt your introduction there. And we got on, the ESG. A lot of companies, they focus on the E, but I think ARC is doing a great job of covering the E, the S, and the G. And, it's time we let people know more about the G. And like I said, when I first got here, I was very impressed. Wow, it's not just one guy his company. He's really making sure that it's run with room to grow for the future.
And that's really kudos to Jason to put that investment and want that for all the people at ARC, that it's actually a team effort, and myself included. There are checks and balances for me as the CEO, and I have a lot of responsibility, but I still got a job at ARC, and I'm happy to be there. Like, every day is exciting, and
you never know who's going to phone.
More than what's exciting. So it hasn't stopped.
What's so exciting about this morning?
Just with Keith, it was awesome. We were just wrangling the crowd. We got people everywhere at this conference, and I expressed appreciation to our team a little bit because my talents, I would say, even being on here with you, Keith, this isn't my strong suit. But
you're doing great, sir. So
I don't know. People at the conference that this is where they really shine, and I love to observe that, and I do my best to play. But there's some other areas where I really shine, and I'm really feel embraced at ARC, but it's tremendous for me to see our team at work out here at a conference setting.
We are very humble, man, sir. Thank you for coming on.
All right, thank you.
I know you got a meeting, and I knew I threw this on you last minute. I really appreciate it, sir.
We'll do it again.
Well, heck yeah.
Hold me to it.
Once a month? Maybe once a quarter.
Yeah, we'll break it up. We'll do it again for sure.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Great chatting with you, man. Get rid of the mic. Get out of here.
Okay.
I know you got to go.
All right. Thank you.
You out. John, come on in. They're starting to line up here. We're starting to gather a crowd here at the GPA. John, grab the mic. Get comfortable. Take your time. There's no rush. Like I said, there's probably only my wife and my mother-in-law watching. So, hi, Edie. I know you called and wasn't able to answer. If you call back, I promise I'll answer and talk right in the middle of the live stream. She won't do it. John, go ahead. You're settled in here. Use that camera. Introduce yourself to everybody who you are.
John Hunt. I'm Director of Upstream and Midstream Operations with Charger Energy Services out of Midland. So we do mechanical, automation, electrical, a lot of really anything our customers need. We aim to provide.
You work
solutions.
on compressors. You work on what?
A lot of not much on the compression side. We dabbled in that, wasn't our game, but a lot of process assistance, glycol burners,
Okay.
some heaters. We do process assistance with troubleshooting. We have filter elements that we provide, and then really any mechanical service as far as bolt up, tubing, any of that. And then we have integrators as well as I&E techs and electricians to help with anything that you see inside.
How big is Charger Energy Services?
About 30 of us now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you guys just situated in the Permian, or are you other places? Or
The Permian's where we started out, and we've been really successful out there. We're looking to grow out, but we haven't hit that point. We're only about 3 years old, so we're 30 guys in 3 years, getting through COVID.
I do love me the Permian Basin, one of the best places. Great people, great events. A lot of people. Sure, it's the desert, but you know what? You can't beat some of the great people that are out in the Permian.
No.
How's business right now?
It's insane right now. It's everybody out there. There's more work than anybody can handle.
Well, how did they let you come out to this event then if it's so busy?
And I have no clue.
You deserved a break. So
that's probably about what they thought.
What? So the show's all about promoting the GPA. What are your thoughts? Is this your first GPA?
GPA.
What do you think?
I'm loving it. It's honestly a great time, and the people I've met are, second to none.
And it's not just other vendors, right? You're meeting customers.
Yeah, absolutely. Customers, other vendors, both sides of the.
How has the customer reception been? Are they looking for partners, looking for help? Are they looking for strategies? What has been the reception?
It's been great. They're all open to hear what we have. We found a few that there's some definite fits for us to help some areas that they're lacking in. And then there's some others that on the vendor side, we've met guys that can help us service our guys on the customers we're meeting.
Awesome. That's what your guy always looks forward to.
Yeah.
How big is the team that you guys brought here?
We brought 4 of us. So.
I know you're Troy. Do you directly report to Troy or not?
I report directly to Troy.
So Troy's your CEO, correct?
Yes, sir.
And he was the one I was like, hey, Troy, you going to come on? And he gets a little nervous in front of the camera.
Apparently.
Being 6'6", I don't understand how he's nervous in front of the camera.
I think he draws enough attention to be used to it.
Exactly. Man, the guy, you don't lose him in a crowd for sure.
Absolutely not.
Did you get here Sunday, Monday night?
We drove in Sunday afternoon.
And all the sweet nights, have you been to all of them?
Oh, God, yes. Been good.
Feeling rough yet?
Oh, yeah. A little hard in the paint last night.
Are you staying all day today, going home tomorrow?
Yes,
what is that
we're
plan?
staying the night and then going home tomorrow.
Any big plans for tonight?
I'm just here to see what happens. I got no plans. I'm kind of rolling with it this year.
That's kind of what I did last year, and you know what? I've met all kinds of great people. I've been playing pretty tame because of these interviews and trying to keep my voice. But no more interviews tomorrow, so tonight's all bets are off. Who knows what will happen? It's Tally Book Troubleshooting. You got any cool little interesting stories that happened out in the field lately? Something on fire that you guys had to put out, or something maybe overly complicated, was just a missing fuse kind of story, or anything like that?
Oh, man. You got me on the spot with that one.
No?
Not really. Not
Trying to lead it out, trying to find,
trying to get the brain functioning this morning.
Going with, they told me you're the smartest guy in the company, so that's where they volunteered.
Dangerous place to be.
So that's where they volunteered you to come on the show. So that's I'm like, man, what are your feelings within the industry? Where are we going? Are we in the right direction? Or
I think we're tracking in the right. I think the industry, we've done a lot on the GHG side and the ESG side in the last year, and kind of moved into that and pursued it pretty heavy in the self-governance on the emission side that the industry is preemptively going after. I think is definitely going to help keep some of the regulations and some of the drive from the government on that's going to push to slow us down. I think that's we're taking care of that, getting ahead of that as an industry and helping prolong what we can do.
Does Charger have any good ESG initiatives you could shout out? Or
So we've spent the last 6 months re-kitting Kimrays and so they don't bleed the atmosphere. We're venting back into the low pressure side of the system.
Wow.
We've got 3 crews out doing that every day, and so made a big impact. We've done about 2,200 devices in 6 months.
How much emission, does that save emissions 10%? Is there a percentage or something you can
when we got into this with that customer, it turned into I didn't realize how heavy that was on their hit. So it's about 70% of their emit is just off back pressure valves and level controllers. And so by swapping out the level controllers to zero bleeds and taking the back pressures back, it's turned down. They've reduced their emissions by about 70%.
Awesome, man.
That's a huge. I wouldn't have thought that little bit was add up, but 2,200 devices, it adds up pretty quick, I guess. So,
man, that's a great story. That needs to be put out there a whole lot more. Are they? Is that particular customer willing to go out? Like we've had several individuals here from associate, like the GPA president, the oil and gas workers, a group that's trying to get out. You know, those great stories. I wonder if they'd be willing to share a win like that.
I imagine they would be, yes.
We'll have to talk online and see what we can come up with.
Absolutely.
One thing the industry doesn't do very well is good PR, and when you share, reduce emissions by 70%, not a lot of people can say that.
No, it's a big win.
Awesome, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much. You can tell Troy wasn't that horrible and painful.
It wasn't. It wasn't bad at all.
Not bad at all. I know who I want on here next. It's a man, a myth, a legend. Christian, come on. Oh, yeah. Come on. Just 2 minutes. You got to introduce yourself. Come on, everybody's done it. Even Amber did it. Come on. You could. Oh, come on. You can throw out a message in Spanish. All our Spanish viewers. Come on, Christian. 2 minutes. Your email can wait 2 minutes. Oh, man. I'm going to tattle on the big boss to you.
You did Jason already?
Yesterday, yes. You're the only one. Oh, come on. He doesn't need to go 2 days in a row. Waiting on you. You really going to turn me down?
I'm good.
Oh, man. Okay. Look around here. Stare in the camera dreamily. I guess we can. What time is it? We're 20 after. Ooh, text message. Aaron, it's probably our internet. The internet, there's a lot of people around here, so maybe our internet not the greatest. Maybe that's why we're coming through a little scratchily. But who knows? We'll try our best. I guess we'll try to close things out. We have a great video of some video clips that Rebecca recently captured at our Lafayette shop, and we're going to play a little bit of that to close out the show. And thank you very much for tuning in to the second day of the GPA, coming here from San Antonio, Texas, the River Center. And is that video ready to go? A little bit of a preview of some video work Rebecca has done for us. She's going to do a how it's done video, and then a little bit of promotional stuff we got coming. So Rebecca is just lighting it up for us. So until next week, where I'll be coming from the School of Energy in Azteca, New Mexico. Everybody, you have a great, wonderful week. And we'll see you on LinkedIn sometime. And we're playing, I hope.
dry gas, high pressure drain, low pressure drain, fuel gas.
Perfect. Looks like we found another guest here. We're not completely done here at the GPA here in San Antonio, Texas, the Marriott River Center. I got Tom here from Zap Engineering. Am I
Shane?
Shane? No.
Yeah. Shane.
That's why I don't do introductions, because I think one name and of course is another. Shane, go ahead. Tell everybody who you are, so I don't feel like I'm such an idiot anymore.
No, that's all right. Shane Wilson from Zap Engineering and Construction Services. We're engineering and EPC firm based in Denver, Colorado, and have an office in Houston, Texas. And we really focus on the upstream, midstream oil and gas industry. We've been in business for 21 years. We really do anything from front-end engineering, design, feasibility studies, to detailed design and lead EPC projects. Mostly, gas processing, NGLs, that sort of thing.
Yeah. How's business? Are you guys full out, or you're still looking for projects?
Yeah, well, you're talking to a BD guy, so
of course, there's always
busy.
room.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we're busy. Business is strong. Absolutely, it's been a good return. Things definitely slowed down during COVID, and we're somewhat diversified. We do stuff in mining and minerals processing, and we're doing some stuff in LNG. So we're a bit diversified, but for sure the core of our business is midstream oil and gas, and it was pretty slow during the pandemic. So seeing things rebound, things are very strong right now. We're doing projects across the country right now, so it's good.
Congratulations on the rebound. I'm out of the Permian, doing business development, strategic development out of there as well. Recently had a chat with one of the larger EPCs from out there, and they were like, man, if you would have told me I'd be turning down some of the biggest clients, 1 or 2 years ago, I would have said you were crazy. But that's, we've rebounded to the point where it's almost too busy in certain cases.
Yeah, it's a big change, and it's a fast swing, to experience for sure. It's and it's tough. You never want to turn down work. At the same time, you don't want to write a check you can't cash,
For sure.
So, from our perspective, we want to maintain quality. We also want to, honor the relationships we've established over 21 years, and so we're hesitant to take on too much and not be able to support our long-term clients. You know what I mean? And so that's really important to us. Oh, absolutely. And they've been there for us and given us work for many years, and so we want to continue to support them. So it's a delicate balance. Absolutely.
So we're here at the GPA. This is all about promoting the GPA. Is this your first GPA, or how long have you been coming?
Yeah, this is my third GPA. But Steve Zapp, our founder and CEO, has been a part of the GPA for say decades, not to give his age. He was a founding member of the Rocky Mountain chapter of the GPA out of Denver. So he has very, very deep roots to the GPA. We have 9 people from ZAP here.
Oh, wow. That's
7 from
team.
Denver and 2 people from Houston. And I think that's a acknowledgement from Steve that it's important. It's important for us. It's important for the organization. It's important for the industry to support it. And so he wants to show that support via, humans here,
Arc Energy, same thing. We put a lot of, resources into coming here, large team, suite nights and booths and this podcast as well, just to get the word out because, I'm blown away. Last year was my first GPA.
Oh, wow.
And I was upstream for a long time. And, it shocked me how this is set up because it's not like a traditional conference. Absolutely. And just the interaction between customers and vendors it's very mutual, very respectful. And I was blown away. We have a suite night on Sunday.
Okay.
And last year I was like, who's going to show up on a Sunday?
Right.
And it was full.
It was packed.
And it's so, it's a completely different mindset here.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed.
I was with a client last night, and it's his first GPA. And he's been in the midstream industry for a lot of years. And he was blown away. He was like talking about how important it is and how appreciative he is of it, of being here, being able to meet a lot of vendors, being able to meet, honestly, his own competitors, but to be able to, talk about what's going on and what they're doing and how they're doing it and stuff like that. It's a respectful, like, how can we help improve the industry? You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And so it's definitely good. It's different for sure.
How's, ZAP Engineering? We're actually, the video we're featuring in there, it's, some people working in one of our shops, and they're actually working off of one of your sets of drawings and stuff. It has ZAP on there. I'm like, that's
cool.
going to be convenient when
Yeah.
he shows up here. So, no, that was great timing.
Nice.
Really appreciate you coming on. You got any big events or announcements you want to shout out at the time here, or just
no big announcements. We're really thankful for the industry, the people that work in it. We're really honored to be a part of it and execute projects, and we hope to continue doing that. And if you guys have any questions for us, again, there's 9 of us here, so you'll find a ZAP person somewhere. So look us up.
You guys on LinkedIn? A lot of people that were on LinkedIn Live, so you can reach out on LinkedIn.
Reach us on LinkedIn. On there, and relatively active on LinkedIn. Our website's pretty up to date and stuff like that. So if you have any questions or need information, absolutely look us up.
Sure. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate
you coming on. Awesome. I'll let you go. I know
Cool.
You're a busy man. You got places to be.
All right,
really
thanks, man.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, likewise.
Let me get your.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Walk off for that.
You on? You coming? No?
Good job, dude.
Thank you, sir. No? You don't want to tell everybody your experience, your first GPA? Come on. Why not?
Right after Ethan.
Come on.
He runs inside, but he's ready.
Come on now. Everybody at suspense. Who's coming on? You know what to do with that. I know. I saw you. You were broadcasting live yesterday, weren't you?
Not live.
Oh, it was recorded.
Yeah, I like to be able to edit.
To edit.
Yeah.
There's no editing on this. We fly by the seat of our pants. Everybody. Everett, tell everybody. Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Efrain Garcia. Been coming to the GPA since 2012, New Orleans. I think I actually was at the original ARC hospitality over there. First class every time.
Excellent, sir. And so what do you do?
I work in the industry full time, and my passion is bringing people together through our events calendars. I have upstream, midstream, and downstream calendars where we promote all the events around the country.
And I see you work with Danny Salinas.
He's the man. We were on the fry baskets together back in the day. Big Humphreys Pizza. They all retired, but when we were 15 and 16, we worked as cooks, inside of the Big Humphreys Pizza in Pearland, Texas. So I've known him. I think I took him to school a couple times.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So since 2012, what is it you see? Is things changed? Have things improved? Is it, is it not the same? Does it, COVID affected it so much that it,
I see.
What are your thoughts?
I see a new crowd, a lot more participation. I see the next generation coming in. It's definitely welcoming, having sharing the knowledge, and they realize now that there's a lot of industry knowledge that's going to be transferred. My previous employer, we were a part of some of these work groups together, helping with operations and maintenance, integrity management, making sure the infrastructure stays safe, because ultimately we want to make sure that the environment is taken care of.
For sure. That's been a major theme through anybody who's sat down here is, they want to make sure they're doing it right. You know what I mean? It's the technology is available, the willingness is there, and they want to make sure that story gets put out there. That they are doing it right.
Some smart people in the room, some people that work hard, that just really care. The people coming in and putting together these papers, these presentations, and sharing the knowledge with the crowd. I mean, it doesn't matter who you work for. It's about really being part of the industry. It's been excellent.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the sweet nights and stuff, but it really is about the technical papers, the speakers that come here. That had a few great speakers yesterday. Robert Bryce, Tom Tang.
Andrew Parker was talking on ESG and the climate, and talking about a combined energy solution is really where all these people with all the brains that are here on these committees, they're really coming up with these solutions to where it's not just one energy as a catch-all. It's really bringing different technologies, different regions that make the most economical sense for that ultimate, moving our industry forward. But
that's what it's all about, right? We need more energy, not less of it, right?
Correct. Yeah.
We don't need to be limiting it. Like the United States is what it is because of its abundant energy, right?
And by the way, I like the haircut.
Thank you, sir.
I was hoping you would go full streamline.
Oh, come on now. I think it's pretty short. I've had people not recognize me because it's as short as it is. So most expensive haircut I ever had.
Yeah,
so.
I bet. No, it was good. I would have considered growing out, my bangs for that. Couldn't really go too far though.
I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on and sharing it. I don't want to keep you. I know you're a busy guy, and I had to guilt you to stopping by. So I'm glad you did, though. I appreciate it. We got to do this more often.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Get you. You need your hand? Yeah. Matt, are you going to come in?
Sure.
Get mic'd up there.
That's good. Is that good?
At least you have a simple enough name that I'm not going to screw it up. I screwed up. I called Shane Tom, Efren, but Matt is Matt, right?
See, I called him Efren too.
I had a good friend named Efren. So
it's a long E.
Long E. Who would have known? Tell everybody who you are, man.
I'm Matt Cody, president and founder of Oil and Gas Workers Association.
And this is your first GPA?
It is, and what a great convention this has been.
So, you can say it's great. What's great about it?
One, the technology that's here. Two, the people that are here. And that's what a lot of people forget is that there are a lot of people whose jobs and families and lives are supported by this vital industry.
So, I got you to come because I figured, with the Oil and Gas Workers Association, it just doesn't have to be upstream. It could be the exposure to midstream as well. Have you, talking about the people, any great conversations, any good connections made?
Outstanding connections made.
Anything you could share?
Look, I don't know if you were fishing, but no, I'm kidding.
I am fishing, yes.
I do want to tell you, thank you to you and Jason and Drew and Amber and everybody at Arc Energy for the invitation. Thank you for the introductions. Thank you for having me on this show today. This should be the world's biggest podcast.
Come on now. You were on Fox and Friends about 2.5 weeks ago. You did a great job. Thank you for, going from Fox and Friends to, the two people, my wife and my mother-in-law who are watching this. I think maybe Terry Nelson and Spiral X too might be watching. So.
Well, I'm depending on them to pay me based upon my looks, and if I remember right, I now owe something.
Dang, come on now, come on.
No, this convention, seriously, thank you for all the introductions that you've made. Thank you for everything that you and everybody at Arc Energy do for our industry, for the people in it, and that's exactly what this is about. You know, you mentioned it's not just an upstream, a midstream, a downstream. It's the entire nation. 11.3 million people whose jobs and families were supported by this industry in 2019.
Yes, sir. It's you know, do you see that growing in the coming years because of, you know, we have an energy crisis in Europe? Do you think that's really going to change a lot of minds?
You know, this administration hasn't made it easy for U.S. operators. Janet Yellen's been trotting around the world asking world banks to defund fossil fuel projects.
Once they see what's going on in Europe, do you think that would finally maybe win some people back to our side?
You would think so, but that's assuming that they didn't know this was going to happen. This is a self-inflicted energy crisis. We see what's happening in the EU. We see what's happening in Germany. We see what's happening in California. California, if you can see us today, you're welcome for the power. Hey, they turned on gas generators just days after losing all power. We know that intermittents, while they may be a great idea someday, right now they're incredibly expensive. They're unreliable. They're leaving states like California and whole nations powerless. Look, oil and natural gas lift whole nations out of poverty. We're keeping the lights on.
I'm not against renewables. I believe we need more energy, not less energy. I think the only mistake they're making there is discarding, you know, natural gas. You know, it's a mistake, right? They should be expanding it at the same rate they're expanding renewables, right? Because their population is getting bigger, not smaller.
It absolutely is. And when you look at how the EU has started to classify natural gas as clean energy, I mean, we couldn't agree more. We've been saying that for years.
You know, and you can capture a lot of the emissions. I've mentioned there's refinery technology out there that can reduce the existing emissions by 95%. Those are big numbers, right? And they can't be ignored.
You're absolutely right. Some of the guests that you've had on your previous podcast talking about solving the refinery problem in America. Brilliant thinking, well laid out plan.
Polaris, I'll expect that check in the mail at any time, you know.
Cut me a half right there.
Yeah, yes,
you
sir.
know, Ben Day, one of the most brilliant people you introduced me to. I love to talk with him, and he's talking about the problems that we're seeing in pipelines, and especially with this mega rule. And this is another weaponization of the EPA and every other federal administration by a Biden administration. The same thing that we saw during the Obama-Biden administration that really hurt U.S. operators, service companies, landowners, investors, and cost a lot of Americans our jobs. We're seeing that today. So we would hope that they would realize, learn those lessons, and reverse course. We can always pray for that. Long term, it's an education battle, and that's one of the most important things we can do.
Did you get with Stephanie when she?
Sure did. Thank you for introducing me to her. Thank you for connecting me with the incredibly brilliant Joel Moxley. You've done a lot. I need to be cutting you a check.
Yes. I'm staring at Jason. He's on the phone. It was a joke.
I'll remind him later. Big check right here. Yeah, he's like, I don't know what I did. Hey, look, long term, it's an education battle. Right now, we win some of these things in the courts. You know, with this mega rule, and in fact, I've spoken with the attorneys general of Texas and of Louisiana. Jeff Landry and I talk every now and then, and of course, Ken Paxton. We endorsed him for re-election. He has fought for our industry and our jobs like none other. He and Jeff Landry have really led the way for so many oil-producing states. And I've spoken with our general counsel, Dr. Don Fire, brilliant cardiovascular surgeon and attorney. We're about to jump into the suit, or we're working on it, with the Independent Petroleum Association of New Mexico and Mountain States Legal to really fight back against New Mexico's state ozone precursor rule. That is the answer right now. Long term, it's an education battle. Right now, we fight in the courts, as well as pass sensible legislation that supports American oil and gas workers, our families, our states, and our entire nation.
Yeah, education. We're not going to win anybody over by attacking them. You know, there are people that we have to face it. We're not going to change some of their minds, but there's a great group in the middle that just don't know what they don't know, right?
That's right.
And if we focus more on some good PR, telling stories, educating people, I'm sure we're going to win more people than we're going to lose, right? And it starts with little podcasts like this. Your great appearance on Fox and Friends again. I can't say it enough. Once again, I was very impressed.
Thank you. I was also on Fox the Evening Edit with Elizabeth McDonald that following night, and then I'll be on there again this week. So look for me in one.
Can I hold a sign in the background next time?
Yes.
Go.
Hi, Mom. Or,
yes.
Or something like that.
I love oil and gas or something.
I love oil and gas. Or hey, most of this brought to you by Keith Seltzer and Arc Energy, who encouraged.
Dude, it's Tally Book troubleshooting in the background. I can ride your
right
coattails to some. Maybe we'll get 5 viewers.
Are you kidding me? I'm riding your coattails. I get a lot of the great ideas from you.
Oh, you heard that, right? That's
another check. Bonus,
sir.
Keith, thank you for having me on. Happy birthday yesterday.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm just a little bit older. Getting a little bit gray here. That longer hair was hiding it. I don't know. Do I look older or younger?
Your hair looks great. So glad that.
I like how you dodged that question. It's amazing. You're a professional already.
No, I don't think that you look older or younger. I think it's incredibly rude for people with hair to keep bringing up that you have some.
It's so full of shit. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thanks
I appreciate
it. Keith.
And everybody, that's it. I think we're done here at the GPA. Unless, do we got one more? Do we have somebody? No. We're going to close it up then. You have a great name. Great names with great names.
That's what I said. I said, I like your question there.
You sure? Otherwise, I'm tying it up. You're the last chance.
What are you going to ask?
It's a crapshoot. You never know. It's a trap. Yeah, we're live. We're waiting. Let's do it. We got one more. Look at this. Just like that. And I won't forget his name. Like I did poor Shane. I called him Tom. I feel horrible.
Just put it here on my collar.
That's why I don't do intros. But your name, Keith, it's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Keith.
I'll get you to introduce yourself and tell everybody what you do.
Okay. Hi, my name is Keith Kirkman. I'm with a company called Schwob Energy Services. We're a construction company in the oil and gas industry. We build the facilities for the midstream, mainly for the midstream side of the business. So we're building the cryo plants, the compressor stations, crude oil terminals, that type of facility.
Got any surplus ones laying around?
Surplus what?
Cryos or aimings or anything around?
No, we don't provide the equipment. We do perform EPC, what they call EPC projects, where it's both engineering, construction, and procurement. But generally, the customer provides the bigger side of the procurement as far as the compressors and the cryo plants generally.
Okay, so you're not physically making the cryo plants yourselves then?
No, we don't make the cryo plants. They buy them from usually a packager.
Yeah.
Or like UOP Russell. They build the compressor stations.
Awesome. So how long have you been coming to the GPA for?
This will be my 8th conference, I believe. I've been to the ones that were in New Orleans, Austin, Dallas, and then this one. I think so. I'm on the board for the GPA, for the North Texas GPA, and we were talking yesterday in a board meeting. So they're going to have it here in San Antonio for another
5 years,
15 years. They've decided it's a 15-year window now because Austin has just gotten so bad based on the mayor that they have there, very liberal mayor. So they've got a lot of homeless issues. a lot of crime.
I thought we had Joel on, the president. I thought he had mentioned something about there was a GPA coming up in a couple years in Denver. Is that no longer
Now,
the case?
Denver may happen, but what we talked about in the meeting was we were going to continue to have it in San Antonio because it's such a great venue. You've got the Riverwalk, just right outside our door, and a lot of people like to bring their wives and their families just because it's such a great area.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed it immensely. Great location, great people. What have you seen as 8 years? Has it improved? Has it changed? What's been for the better? What's been for the worse? Anything you could share or touch on that stands?
It's improved. I think it improved tremendously over the years. They're offering more of these lunch and learn type venues in the individual conference rooms. I wish they would bring the golf tournament back, but that's been gone for a while. They still do the clay shoot. They do it on Sundays, on the Sunday before the conference. But the golf tournament was always really good here, especially here in San Antonio. There's so many great golf courses to play.
Oh, I'm sure there's no shortage of people that would want to just go and play too. I think a few of our guys went and played some golf
There's
today.
still individual groups that come here, and they'll still go play sometimes on the weekday.
Well, sir, I really appreciate you sitting down. I know I kind of guilt you into it. Did you have any other big announcements for the company or other organizations you work with you want to shout out quickly?
Well, I mean, I'll give a shout out to Arc Energy. We've quoted several projects for them. I don't think we've gotten to do a project with them, but they're a great organization. They supply some top quality equipment.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking forward to hopefully getting a project done with them. But other than that, our industry is continuing to oil and gas in general is continuing to come back from both COVID and I'll not get too political, but the current administration putting their foot on our neck from the get-go or from the jump, but that's kind of backing off. They're backing off on that, so we're growing.
There's great organizations fighting back. The gentleman that was just here as part of an organization trying to have litigation to push back. I know the GPA is pushing back on a bunch of stuff, so there's always hope. And with the energy crisis in Europe, as long as people pay attention to that and really want to prevent that from happening here, I think
we don't want to follow in Europe's footsteps.
It's starting with heating their homes, and it's going to end with fertilizer and food shortages. Like they're going to have a lot of trouble over there.
While. We're not ready to pull the cord on oil and gas yet. We're not.
Not for a lot. Yeah, we need more energy, not less of it. Right.
Exactly.
Perfect, sir. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's it. There's nobody else. We finally did it. The GPA. You got one more?
No.
You coming? My face? I'm excited.
Has Jason done it yet?
Oh, Jason was on yesterday. I was trying to get a Spanish speaker on, but he refused.
Man, you gotta work with him a little bit, man.
I was working him and begging him. You guys.
Energy on?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Shane, he's a good kid.
I accidentally called him Tom. I felt horrible. Uh-oh.
So you couldn't get my name wrong.
No, sir. That's a great name.
Let me see if I can get Christian.
No, that's okay. Well, yeah, okay. If he can do it, if he's around. No, I think I'm done.
No.
Oh, you're gonna call Christian? Okay. Let's play the video. Let's start playing some of the clips. We'll see if Christian goes. If not, everybody, thanks for tuning in. And that's how you troubleshoot. Hopefully in a minute we'll be playing a video of. Go ahead.
So we have is a 10 foot by 10 foot by 20 foot stress relief oven. It's fully insulated, automated. blooper. Stop, cut that, roll that action.
Okay.
All right, do it again. Sorry. So what we have is a stress relief oven. It's 10 foot wide by 10 foot long by 20 foot deep. It's fully insulated. What we do is we can get temperatures up to 2200 degrees and hold it consistently. Everything is completely automated to where we can control the temperature, slowly increasing up and holding at certain temperatures. We'll put items in here to where once it's welded, you have metals that are hardened and your molecules are pretty tight. So what you want to do is kind of cook everything at a certain temperature to where everything's going to release and relax to where you don't run any risk of fracturing or cracking in production. Yeah, so basically the cart rolls out, and once the cart rolls out, we'll stick whatever we're going to cook on top of it, secure it down, roll the cart back in. We're going to close the door, let it cook, and then after the test is done, everything's cool, it comes right back out, comes right back off, and goes to production. Full line, and we'll hook it up to our forklift, and it'll come along the rail line so it slides right out on the cart system, and we'll have everything clear from the oven itself, and it sits right back down, and then we take the forks and we just push it right back in. And inside you have your wires. You have temperature sensors that are actually put on top of your equipment that you're testing or heating.
Yeah.
And it makes sure that everything is cooking evenly to where you don't have one side hotter than the other. It can adjust to where your heat's gonna be equalized inside and that equipment is getting heated up consistently and evenly.
BOM, your bill of material on what it is, as far as the flange, your pipe, 600-pound flange, 150 flange. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the first fits to where the guys could roll it out.
Oh,
And what I mean by first fits is like I'll put this flange to this 90.
Yeah.
And then I'll highlight it, and then I'll write the heat number of the flange on this side or here, and I'll do this flange to this 90 to where they'll roll it out. And then once they're done with that, what I'll do is I'll start fabbing from this flange back this way, and they can roll it all out to where we don't have to make too many position welds if we don't have to. You're gonna edit that.